we're coming to the last hour of the race.
Absolutely, as it just ticked over there by about 30 seconds. So we've got 1 hour to go here. Thank you so much to everybody who's been with us for the last 23 hours. I mean, it's been absolutely amazing, especially given the issues we had at the beginning. Just the fact that this event has come off at all when at a certain point it looked unlikely to be taking place this weekend. And to go from that to just this absolute, cracker of an event that we've had for the past 23 hours today. It's been such a fantastic time here. I know, I'm sure I can speak for everybody in the commentary booth, but at least I've had a ton of fun, and I'm sure the Parabellum racing team has been having fun as well.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be casting with you here, Zach.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this has been a lot of fun, and especially for for no preparation or planning of really any kind. All in all, I think we've been doing all right, and like I said, it's just been a great time, and it helps that we've had a great event to watch.
Yeah, it's been really entertaining to watch. I've been, during the night, I've been awake, and a couple minutes just checking out the race, and I saw them trading positions. It has really been exciting all out through these 24 hours, and seeing that come to a close always, makes it a bit melancholic always.
It's That's exactly the word I just had in mind. It really is that very melancholy feeling of, it's that sad, saying goodbye at the end of a school year or the summer camp or whatever. It is almost that feeling of just we've been you're glad to see it end, and there's been a lot of hard work, and you're glad to finally get to the finish and take that checkered flag and confirm your position. But there's something about doing it that it's like we were talking about yesterday. Before these events, at least I'm always sitting there, wishing that they were more frequent, and then as soon as they're over, I'm quite glad that we have a couple months of break.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. Seeing how you have to do this for 24 hours with very little sleep is, you just want it to be over. As a driver at this point, I would
Exactly.
imagine.
At this point, and again with that pressure building and everything, it's just okay. Just literally, at least for me, it's just ticking off laps in my head. 30 more laps, 29 more laps, 28 more laps. Just keep. It's almost over. Just do what you've been doing 26 more times, and you're done. And you've done it, and you're finished. And absolutely, it's very much that. Okay, just get to the end.
Yeah, especially if you've been doing the same thing for such a long time, it can really take a toll on your, on your fatigue.
Yeah,
And
it's
seeing how they're still doing so well, Mitch having been gotten in, I don't know, like maybe 20 laps ago. I don't quite remember.
he's
Uh,
well, he's done a stint in a bit already, because he's already had one stop there. So yeah, he's been in for I'd say about 30 or 35 laps, I think, something like that. But and again, for somebody like him, just his particular circumstance of kind of getting a surprise call at 5 a.m. say, hey, turns out you're not done driving for the day. How'd you like to finish?
yeah,
You know.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Exactly, but I get it. It seems like he's very clearly been able to respond to the challenge here, and has really been keeping that pace up. And unfortunately, it seems like Clemens is starting to dip down into those mid 34s, and is pulling back, actually almost to that 40-second gap they had. So it seems like we thought they'd well, I'm sure it seems like they definitely had made a mistake, I think, not putting him in sooner. But it seems like the Austrian Sim Racing green card definitely making the right call there in swapping in Clemens at the last minute. I don't think that they would have had any chance at holding that position if not. And again, it's still not guaranteed. But I think if they had left Marcus in, I think there's no way they would have held on to it.
I agree. I agree. But then again, who knows? Maybe they're pulling back their pace on purpose. Noticing maybe that Parabellum has very smartly saved on fuel during the night, and now
And
they try to save that little bit of fuel to maybe keep their advantage. But
yeah,
have you see how there's like an hour left? I'm not sure if that's gonna be enough.
well, that's the thing, is if they, you kind of have to make that decision of what's going to be to your best advantage. Is your pace your best weapon right now? Is fuel saving your best weapon? Because like you said, with an hour to go, yeah, the Austrian team can slow it up a little bit, to try and save some fuel for their last stop. But in doing so, do you bring the Parabellum team, close enough that, the time you save in the last stop isn't enough? Or is it better to just, keep running flat out and have to take the longer stop and try and protect yourself with pace? And again, we really won't see it shake out until the end. But that, I think, this fuel saving, especially now, I think the fuel is really going to come into play as the dominant factor here. if they're able to get in under a faster stop, or I mean, there's no way that they. Well, let's see. We're doing minute and a half. You're doing, yeah. There is actually, now that I look at it, based on when they last pitted, there is they're going to have to take, I think, one more full stop and maybe a splash after. Because they were both in, I mean, we're at 8:52. Yeah, they both pitted on 8:32, 20 laps ago. They've got 3 or 4 laps left in the tank, which just might take you to the end, but maybe not, maybe a couple laps shy. And so again, if they can, this really might turn out to be one of these teams taking a splash and dash and the other not. And if you can do that, forget not having to take, you know, if you can save a couple gallons of fuel, that's a couple of seconds. But if you can avoid an entire trip down pit lane at 60 kilometers an hour, that's huge.
Right, that might make the difference here.
And entirely possible that we see that happening again with this this pace difference here, and also entirely possible that is why we're seeing that pace come down from Mitch himself. Like we talked about, they might very well be playing this cautious game and kind of realizing exactly what we are and just going, hey, this last stop might not be enough for the other team to make it to the end. If they're running flat out, it might leave them a few laps shy. And again, if you can have saved that extra lap or two of fuel, that's the ball game.
Right, that could totally make the difference. But you know, we still don't quite know if Australian Sim Race Green, if they can push through without another stop, then maybe
right.
if Clemens does a good job, they might be able to hold on to P6. But you know, it's all very, very close right now.
Exactly, and again, even from there, it's only a lap ahead of P6 to P5 there. So still entirely possible that they get caught, who's also been, you know, just been in the pits and is running rather slowly. So, I mean, again, that P5 team, their last lap was a 1:42, and that's not an out lap. I mean, they pitted, you know, 6 laps ago, so they're still running in the low 40s, which is almost a good 8 or 9 seconds off the fastest race pace we've seen here today. So if that gap starts coming down too, I mean, like I said, these other positions are still very much in play, even if they don't make any sort of mistakes. If they just, you know, if that pace keeps up, that's not a good sign either.
Right. It all comes down to strategy here. Seeing how, you know, I think actually the Australian Sim Race Screen might be realizing the same thing as their pace is coming down a little bit, trying to save that little bit extra fuel. But who knows, if they realize that Parabellum has been doing that throughout the entire night, still having the fuel advantage. And I think that might be the strategy that makes the difference here.
Exactly. I mean, because they pitted on the same lap. On lap 8:32 did the Austrian sim racers and Parabellum, but they hadn't really been on the same pit stop window before that. So you know, they may have been, and again, the Austrian team in that stop when Mitch got in the car had a very quick stop. Even take into account the lack of a driver change, they had a very quick stop, which tells me that they might very well have pitted a little bit early to get onto the same pit window as the Parabellum team to try and take back some of that fuel advantage that they felt the Parabellum guys had been gaining on them. And if that's the case, then again they may end up having to they either have to pit a couple laps earlier if they run the tank to empty, or they're gonna have to take on a little bit more fuel than Parabellum to try and keep up on that pit window. And again, it's that the fuel saving that these guys did tonight very well could come into play here as a deciding factor in this battle for 6th position.
Right, everything's really exciting right now because it's really, really, really close. And as you were talking about, the fuel advantage, it will absolutely make a difference. But you know, I kind of wish I could listen into the Austrian sim races green, you know, comms just to hear what they're thinking.
Exactly, to be a fly on their wall right now and just, you know, what are they talking about and what are they feeling? You know, are they worried about the car behind them catching up, or do they feel like they've got something up their sleeve here?
Right, but they must be realizing that if this goes on, they won't be able to hold P6.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, I'm sure that thought is going through their head, and as the driver, it's basically you can really start applying that pressure, and it seems like for right now, Clemens has been able to respond to it, but like we've still got 50 minutes to go here. This is not over. I mean, again, Toyota will tell you it's not over until you actually take that checkered flag. Um, actually, really, Toyota will tell you it's not over until you actually get classified, because if you recall, big spin there ahead of the Parabellum car. That was a big impact we heard there in the wall, which luckily it doesn't seem like cost Mitch any time. It looks like he was just far ahead enough that he didn't have to take any avoiding action.
Oh, that might have taken out someone there. That looked really horrible.
Yeah, that was, let's see if we can figure out who that was. That was Andrew Thompson in that BMW down in they were in P31. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's not a BMW. That was a Lamborghini that went off, excuse me. But let's see, yeah, that's the Performance Link Esports team down in P31 who's now making their way back, I believe, towing to the pits. I don't know, I didn't see, I don't think they took anybody else off with them. It looks like...
yeah, it didn't look like it.
No, it doesn't. I don't see anybody else having been recorded. There's a couple other off tracks, but somebody might have had to avoid, but I don't think he took anybody else out with him, which is good. But yeah, that's... and trouble ahead. The who is this? The Renvelten Pro team down from P1 has been in the pits now for almost 3 minutes, dropped down to P3, and they were a couple laps ahead. This is big. That is
absolutely insane. If you've been paying attention, the Renvelten Pro team, they have been P1 for almost the entire race.
Exactly.
Now losing two places here is huge.
And still in the pits. They've been sat in the pits for 3 minutes and 39 seconds now. Again, they are undertaking some fairly major repairs. We've now got two more cars that have reclaimed the lead lap. That's Scuderia Bavaria in P1 and the Krusty Krab Pizza delivery vehicle in P2 just behind them by about 20 seconds. I still can't get over saying that.
Krusty Krab Pizza delivery vehicle?
Yes, I've decided that's what it is now. They are officially the Krusty Krab Pizza delivery vehicle.
I love it. I want them to win. That would be hilarious.
I kind of do, and then I want them to buy pizza for us all.
Oh, yes. Please.
But, okay, and we've got also P4 now in the pits. Behind them, the Brawl Autosport team. But again, I think that looks to be just a fairly regular pit stop. But yeah, Renvelten Pro team still in the pits and just losing time. We've now got, again, the Brawl Autosport, if they come out of the pits, should be able to come around and regain their lead, regain the lead lap themselves. Or, I'm sorry, not the lead lap, but regain their lap at least on the Renvelten Pro team. As will the Austrian Sim Racing team and the Parabellum team behind them, and Team Cheetah Esport in fifth, whom I've forgotten, I'm sorry. But yeah, all of these guys going to be starting to catch up and reclaim that spot. So this very well may be, it's been a free position for two teams at least already, very likely a third, and if it continues on like this and as we pass the 5-minute mark, I see no reason to believe that it won't. If it continues on like this, it very well may end up being a free position for 4, 5, 6 teams here as they come around and pass the Renvelten car sitting in the pits. Bear in mind that the Austrian car and Parabellum are going to have to make that overtake 3 times, I believe, 2 or 3 times to get their lap back, but still.
What a shame for the Renvelten Pro team.
Absolutely.
They've been first for almost the entire race. I don't know what happened to them, but it must have been some mistake a driver made there, maybe into the wall.
See if we can try and find it. I'm looking back and I don't see... there was an off track. Let's see if we can go back here. Nope, apparently not. Here we go. Oh, there it is. Ooh, a big hit into the wall for the Renvelten team. Ooh, that's why. That's going to be a big one.
That is a horrible crash for
trouble getting it back onto the track there as well. Oh my God. Oh, that is just absolutely terrible to see. You hate to see it.
Yeah, it's really a shame. That's gonna cost a lot of time. It is certainly gonna cost them P1.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, their P1 is their hopes of winning this race are absolutely gone. They're now just been overtaken as we speak, actually, officially for third place by the Brawl Autosport car. So now Renwelton down in P4, still sat in the pits. For it's been 7 minutes since they came into the pits. Now again, that's going to be a fairly major repair bodywork. You're looking at probably at least 15 or 20 minutes of repairs there,
Yeah,
which
that looked really bad.
absolutely will be enough for at least as another car, as the Team Cheetah goes past to reclaim their lap and moves into P4. That will likely be enough for Austrian Sim Racing and Parabellum Racing Crimson to come past and each move up a position. So I mean, it's not official yet. We've got another lap or two to go, but I'm fairly confident to call this Parabellum Racing P6.
That would be good for Parabellum.
Yeah, I mean,
And
and
still, closing into onto the Australian sim cars,
for
sim races
potentially
green.
for potentially a fifth place finish, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, you got to feel for those Renwelton guys, though. I mean, we've been saying it over and over again. We've been harping on it all day long, but it's this last hour. Anything can happen. Anything can go wrong, and you can be leading for 23 hours and a bit, and it can just evaporate just like that.
Yeah, and that just there's no time to make up for it anymore now, right?
Exactly.
It's like with about 45 minutes left in the race, there's no way they're gonna make up 20 minutes after that crash.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this happens to you. You never want to see this happen at all. But if this happens to you, early on in the race, this happens to you in lap, 10 or 15. You can get over it. You can claw that time back, especially as other people, start start having problems of their own. But as we take a look at here, though, the pace of this race has been very consistent throughout. I mean, we've got a lot of very fast drivers, though. I mean, that Ren Welton team again has been just monstrously leading this race forever, but unfortunately have now just been overtaken by the Austrian car. And in about half a lap's time, I think we will see Parabellum as they come by the pits. I do believe that they will be reclassified officially into P6.
Right. Even with oh, did they have to retire?
I don't know that they've retired yet. They're still sat in the pits. They're still actively taking repairs, I believe. They may end up retiring the car just at this point, just because. But honestly, I wouldn't if I were them. I mean, you've lost your victory certainly, but you're still on for easily a top 10 finish.
Right.
And again, you've been racing for 23 and a bit hours. There's no reason not to take the checkered at this point. If you have the ability to. But 9.5 minutes gone, and Renwelton still sat in the pits as Mitchell Johnson does come by the pits and is now P6 overall in this race, having passed the Renwelton Pro team. Unfortunately, sat in the pits with some major repairs after a fairly large impact with the barrier here at the first horseshoe. Got just over 40 minutes left in this race. We're now a 1 minute gap behind the Austrian team. So again, Clemens down in 33.9, really starting to respond again. It's I think absolutely essential that they made that driver swap, and I think that's going to be key to them potentially holding on to that position. But like we've just seen, it doesn't matter if you were the fastest guy out there who's been leading the race and doing really well. This can still be over in a heartbeat. And there we go. Okay, so Renwelton Pro back out on track now after 10.5 minutes almost in pit lane. They are not going to be happy campers, but they're just about 50 seconds, 52 seconds or so behind the Parabellum racing car now, currently sat in P6. Unlikely that is going to be able to come back, although we know obviously Samir and the rest of the Renwelton team have the pace to take that time back, maybe even in the 40 minutes we've got left. I think it's unlikely that car is going to be running at its tip-top shape anymore, unfortunately for them.
Right, that pit stop took forever and cost them 7 places in the
Yeah,
last 45 minutes of the race. That just
it's
gotta hurt.
it's just crushing. 10 minutes and 2 seconds stopped in the pits there. So again, yeah, that was some fairly major bodywork repairs going on. Which again, it's absolutely heartbreaking. But you know, if you're the Parabellum Racing team though, if you're anybody who just gained a position there, it's very sorry for you, but thank you very much.
Yeah, that's what these endurance races are about. You know, concentration until the very last second of a 24-hour race,
Yeah.
and things like this will happen if you are not, if you don't pay attention for a split second with these speeds on the track.
Exactly. It's all it takes is that split second, that blink at the wrong time, and you can be off and throw away an entire day's worth of running. Um, and again, it's heartbreaking and it's frustrating as hell if you're that driver again. But it's like you said. I mean, it's not over until it's over, and anything can still go wrong. And especially now, as that pressure, as every second, as every lap takes off now, it just becomes more and more likely for somebody else to keep having those kind of mistakes. And so, it's really just a race of attrition here. And the key point that you had brought up earlier is consistency, and it really is. That is absolutely the name of the game. Is you have to be consistent. You need to be the dictionary definition of consistent, and that means until the very last second.
Right. And we just saw Primetime Noob in the chat. Welcome back, man.
Hey, it's Primetime Noob. Welcome back again. Glad to see you here. Thanks for stopping by.
We're talking about last time, I think yesterday, shortly after the start, Primetime Noob having run the same race last year by himself.
Yes.
And I think there are actually a couple of people doing the same feat this year as well.
Are they? Oh my god. There's always a few every year, and it always just boggles my mind that people are actually able to do it, or even want to, frankly, for that matter.
Yeah, it must be so exhausting. I don't even want to.
I can't
I mean, I wouldn't even want to try it.
I'm thinking about it now, and I'm ready for a nap.
This is absolutely mind-boggling.
But you know what? More power to you if you're able to do it. Okay, Austrian Sim Racing in the pits.
Oh, there we go.
Austrian Sim Racing in the pits now. They've been in for a nice long stop. They're almost they're approaching the 40-second stop mark now, which means that's a full stop. That's a full service, I'm thinking. And in comes Mitch for Parabellum as well for what's got to be his last stop. So let's see where this gap works out when they come out, and what the difference in stop time is.
Right. Maybe, I mean, if the Austrian Sim Racer screen, like you calculate, stops again for short time, then maybe it's possible.
Yeah, we'll see. I think at this point they should... I think they should be able to make it to the end with this on a full tank, but a minute 13 as they leave. A minute 13 stopped for the Austrian Sim Racing team. Let's see if these guys...
They're leaving just now.
And they're leaving just now. Yeah, let's see if Mitch can be... how long he sat for. Interestingly, a minute 13 means I'm almost certain that they would have taken fresh tires as well, which I can imagine I don't think Mitch will be doing.
And fresh tires for the last 40 minutes?
Exactly. They are in desperation. Mitch leaving after a 33-second stop. Just clawed back. Look at that gap now from over a minute to 24 seconds now. Oh, excuse me, no.
Renwelten actually overtaking Mitch here.
Yeah, that was Renwelten just coming back through. But they may have to... No, I don't think that they have to stop again. They should be okay on fuel, but only a second and a half ahead there. Mitch might be able to get back on them, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how that
I can't believe
out.
Mitch would let him, would let them take the P7 out of... P6 out of his hands.
Not when he's that close to them, no, I'm sure. But again, I mean, you look at that's the difference. That's the fuel saving that we've been talking about. That's the big payoff there. When you look at the difference there, that was 40 seconds. 40 seconds on the nose almost that Mitch Johnson and the Parabellum team have been able to save in this race by saving fuel through the night. Where the Austrian team had to do a final stop of a minute and 13 seconds, and Mitch was in and out in 33. That's the difference we've been talking about. That's what we've been waiting to see. And the question now is it going to be enough to pay off?
Right, and we had Mitch earlier here, and he was talking about how fuel saving almost comes naturally to him. So, having this kind of talent, it just really helps. Making up 40 seconds there in a critical moment of the race might be the difference later.
Exactly. I mean, that is just absolutely, that will always be absolutely huge. And we just got to see if it's going to be enough to make the difference here or not. If they're going to be able to catch. Falling a little bit back from that Van Velten team again, who we know has some pretty good pace, but Mitch again on his outlap and just kind of getting back up to speed and up to temperature with those tires. We're gonna have to see as Clemens comes around, Clemens Schmidt in the Austrian sim racing car, what his actual lap time is looking like now for this last stint.
Yeah, as you're talking about Renwelten with an absolutely good pace. They've actually hold I think the fastest lap in the race too.
They do, as far as
obviously
I'm aware.
Some absolutely talented drivers here.
Yeah, we've got let's see. They've absolutely been. Yeah, I think they are just not by much actually, but I think they do still hold the fastest lap with the 33.25. Although again, we've got Scuderia Bavaria currently running P2 with a 33.26. So again, not by much, but yes, Van Velten still do have the ultimate pace on this field. And again, I've already pulled out another second or two from where they overtook Mitch coming out of the pits there. Unfortunate that they were that close. If they had just taken a couple extra seconds of repairs, we might have been able to stay ahead of them, though. But if you notice, that gap to the Austrian car has just had a massive chunk taken out of it by about 5 seconds. Unbelievable. Well, what happened there was a 42.2 for the Austrian car and a 36.1 for Mitch. That's what happened there. It was just must have run into some traffic or something. I'm not certain if they've had any issues here. Let me just double check and see. We've got who is in? Clemens Schmidt in there. Let's see. I didn't see anything. I don't see any off track or anything like that. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. We absolutely did. Let's see if we can take a look here. If I can actually get it to go to. There we are. This is, let's see, the mistake here from Clemens Johnson from the Austrian car. Whoops.
We can see him going wide there onto the grass, losing a lot of time there.
Yeah, and that'll have put a nice little scrub into those tires as well, which he will not be happy about, I'm certain.
Absolutely not. I have to check out here for a second, and hopefully I'll be back to join you for the last couple minutes of this race.
Yeah, certainly. Well, again, if we don't see you, then thank you again so much for being here this whole time. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, that's Blanco stepping away for just a minute, and hopefully we will see him back for the last couple minutes of this race. But if we look at these gaps, I mean, it is absolutely incredible what that just did to the Austrian sim racing team. That been able to pull back a little bit of pace. It looks like he's kind of been able to shake it off and keep his head right and get back onto the pace there. But absolutely amazing to see this the toll that this is starting to take here. The fatigue and the endurance that these guys are under. Or the fatigue that these guys are under and the endurance that they have to keep going at this point and to keep racing and to try and not be the one who makes those kind of mistakes right at the end here. But let's wait and see what's going to happen if we can actually manage to take back a position here from either the Renvelten Pro team ahead or the Austrian sim racing green car that the Parabellum team has been battling for the better part of 10 or 12 hours now, frankly. And again, it's just absolutely incredible to see a 20-second difference between these two cars that have been fighting for, like I said, 10 or 12 hours. And they're only 20 seconds gap between them that keeps, ebbing and flowing, and they're still just this closely in contention after all that time, which to me is just absolutely incredible. And it's what we love to see about endurance racing, and and just really speaks to the skill level of all the teams and all the drivers that are involved here today that we really haven't seen as well. I mean, we really haven't seen very many big issues like that, big impacts with the wall that had big repairs, we really haven't been seeing it all that much today. It's been an incredibly clean field. Still have, best I can tell, 40. Oh, we've actually seems picked up a few people out of the pits who have completed their repairs. We're back up to 41 cars running now. 41 cars circulating out on track. That out of the 54 who actually took the start. So I mean, a massively attrition-free race for the most part here, with the exception of the stream itself, unfortunately. We have half an hour to go here. I really don't want to have to restart the stream, or not the stream, but restart the sim at this point, only because it's going to take 2 or 3 minutes at least for it to restart, and there's really not that much left here. Hopefully it holds together without too many issues like that. Because if I am going to restart it, I'm going to have to do it in the next minute or two. Let's take a look, see here. Yeah, C-bar still firmly in the red, but working okay. We will see how it works out. Again, super strong showing from Mitch here, and everybody else who's been driving this car, and all the work that they've done, and to James and everybody at the who's been organizing the team. It's just absolutely phenomenal effort, and to see it being rewarded like this and paying off with such drama and excitement at the end of this race is just absolutely wonderful, and must feel really great for them. And they certainly, that whole organization has a lot to be proud of and a lot to be happy with today. We'll have to see after the race is over. We'll see if we can talk to them again real quickly, just to try and find out how the other sister cars did. A little bit of drama behind their big lockup from looked like that orange Porsche there, going through turn 1. Gap still increasing on the Parabellum car to the 2 ahead, unfortunately. But we're still got half an hour to go here. Still a lot that can happen, and most importantly, a lot that can go wrong for Parabellum and for anybody else. And hopefully, hopefully nothing goes wrong for anybody really. We don't like to see anything like that. We still want to see good, clean racing, and see these guys all get it to the end and take the checkered flag here that they so well deserve at this point. It's interesting, though, to note that we do have a few runners, including the Austrian sim racing team and the current leaders of the race here, as well as a few others, all running, sitting at 37 stops total. And interestingly, actually, I'm just noticing that P2 has only done 36, which means that they are entirely likely that Scuderia Bavaria car might need another stop, or might not. Actually, they might have been able to save 2 stops. But I was just going to point out again that noticing some of these other teams, the P3, the Brawl Autosport team, the Renwelton Pro team, of course, who had that big accident, BJC Sim Skins down in P9. A bunch of these teams running 38 or even 39 stops, compared to 37 for the Parabellum team. So it certainly seems like the fuel saving that they were able to do through the night has saved them at least 1 pit stop, if not 2. Well, not 2 full stops, but a full pit stop certainly, and perhaps a splash at the end that it looks like some of these other teams might have had to take or have had to account for, that Parabellum has kind of been able to eke their way out of. We'll say Mitch actually improving, pace is staying consistent, but improving through the speed trap, is now the second fastest car through the speed trap of the day at 210 miles an hour. This is actually 4 miles an hour faster than the Austrian sim racing car, but more importantly than the Renwelton Pro car has, who does hold the outright the fastest lap of the race here so far. So interestingly, that Parabellum car, very slippery, very fast in a straight line, not surprised that we've been able to see them, you know, making up so many places and getting through traffic so cleanly on these big straights here and through the NASCAR banking. Now we all just kind of sit back and wait and watch and hope that there's something that these guys can do here. To pull back just a little bit more time. And, you know, and hopefully maybe potentially gain a position back. Still holding on to that lucky number 7 that they're so fond of as a team here. It's unfortunate. It looked like they were actually going to be able to make their way up into P6 and in fact did for quite a while. Until unfortunately the Ren Welton team was just close enough to be able to sneak back on them through that last stop. But Ren Welton, again, here's the thing though. That fuel saving is key. As there's been another crash further back in the field, there's still cars going off. That fuel saving though is key. And again, the margins are so close here that the Ren Welton car ahead pitted 3 laps before the Austrian sim racing car and the Parabellum car. If that's enough, there is a slight chance here. There is a possibility, and I'm not 100% certain on exactly where it's going to shake out and what kind of fuel they would have taken, but it seems to me that there is a possibility with that 3-lap difference that that Ren Welton car may in fact need to come in just for a splash, just for a lap or two's worth of fuel to be able to make it to the end. If the Austrian and the Parabellum cars are right on the edge of it, and I do believe that they are, there is every chance that the Ren Welton team needs to come in, along with Team Cheetah, or sorry, Team wrong racing series, Team Cheetah Esports in P4 there, who last stopped on lap 847, which is 9 laps before the Austrian car was in alongside the Parabellum team. Now they are 2 laps ahead of our little group of 3 here, so unlikely that that's going to result in any potential position changes, I don't think, but still will bring them back a little bit closer to this group here, and certainly would be the last thing that they would want to see is to have to make another stop with, you know, about 20 or so minutes to go. So we're going to keep an eye out for them coming into the pits here. Again, not that I think it's really going to affect the Parabellum race result, but still something to keep an eye out for. I do believe if anybody is most likely, it will be Team Cheetah in P4 to be needing a splash and dash here. Mitch responding though to the Austrian sim racing pace there of Clemens Schmidt, 35.67 on the last lap for both cars, actually firmly matching each other's pace here. These two teams, like I said, have been battling back and forth for almost half the race now, through most of the night and all through this morning. And it's phenomenal to see how closely matched they are, and it's just been absolutely amazing to watch. As this lap, actually, Mitch does indeed go a couple of tenths faster and start closing that gap just a little bit to the Austrian sim racing car, currently running in P5. Making our way through some traffic here now, and hopefully, if I can try and pick out. Yeah, hopefully coming through, should get a fairly clean run, it looks like, down the back straight and into the bus stop. There is a little bit of traffic ahead, but it looks like a lot of them are also LMP2 cars that have been lapped. So, again, not going to be a huge pace differential, and certainly not as much lost time trying to get by them. So, hopefully, that can play into the Parabellum hands just a little bit. As we try and see, I believe, yeah, the Austrian sim racing car has just come across the line to begin lap 866 for them. Unbelievable. We're now in the 20-minute mark, guys. 20 minutes to go in this 2021 iRacing 24 Hours of Daytona, following the Parabellum Racing Crimson car, sponsored by Seagate Gaming and Corsair. I want to thank everybody for joining us so far. It's been an absolute pleasure to have everyone here. We've still got 20 minutes and a lot of excitement left in this race, but I do want to, while we've got a moment of slight calm, just take a moment to thank everybody who's joined me in the commentary booth today. Of course, Blind Ghost and Daniel Insomnia for coming in and commentating with me for a little while. Also to Mitch Johnson and James Davidson for coming and speaking with us, and of course to James and Chris and everybody at Parabellum Racing and Parabellum Esports for letting us have this broadcast today. We're getting just a little bit glitchy here. Okay.
What did I miss?
Oh, and welcome back. It's Blind Ghost. Well, I was just going to ask for a little help from maybe you or from Chad or somebody, because I don't want to make an executive decision here on reloading the sim to make sure we get a clean, smooth finish here. But if it's going to happen, I feel like it should happen now.
I don't know. Looks fine to me right now.
Alrighty, then. I think we're going to be okay. I keep noticing a little bit of stutters, and I just don't want it to happen at the end. But like I said, I don't want to cost us a couple of minutes just for this. At this point.
I get you.
So, looks like, all right, so then that's it. We're confirmed, we're committed, and we're staying live, and we're not going to leave the sim until this is over. So, Mitch had been, trading pace off a little bit and trying to work his way through traffic. Still not terribly much closer, unfortunately, to either of the cars ahead, but what I'm still looking out for at this point, and what I noticed is that Renvelt and Pro Team pitted 3 laps. They left the pits 3 laps before the Parabellum boys did. So, and there's actually a car ahead of them in P4 who left 6 laps before that. So I'm waiting to see if one or both of those cars, the Team Cheetah car in P4 or Red Velton in P6, are actually going to make another splash. I think Team Cheetah is most likely to, of course, because they were the last to stop, but they're far enough ahead. I don't think it would impact the Parabellum Racing result, unfortunately. As in fact, as I say that, they do indeed come straight into the pit lanes, Team Cheetah from P4. But
right, your mind reading abilities working there again.
Exactly. If the bigger one though, like I said, is if Ren Welton needs to make another splash, even for just a lap or two of fuel, they've only got a 16-second gap. That'll put them firmly behind Mitch and put us back into P6. I don't know if that 3-lap difference is going to be enough to make them have to come in. But if they do, we're probably going to be seeing that in the next couple of minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, they have made. I mean, you gotta admit they did a good comeback from. I mean, at least looking at the pace.
Oh, absolutely.
But still, we saw a trade there on P8 because of the pit. Okay, never mind. Yeah, but still, P6 is still possible. We still have about 16 minutes left in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, we've been doing like 22, 23 laps or so stint. Red Velton left the pits on 8:53. We're on 8:74 now. That's 21 laps. We've got more than 3 or 4 laps to go. I think they are going to have to come in. But now as I'm thinking, as I'm doing that, I'm wondering if Parabellum and Austrian need to as well. I'm hoping not. I think they might just have that 3-lap difference. I think might just be enough to get them across the line.
Right. Mitch was talking earlier about saving fuel, and if he can get his skills in fuel saving, as he was talking about, then maybe
to try and
they can make it without another stop. Right.
Exactly. And I think this is exactly what they're talking about. And again, it's what we've been mentioning all day long. It's just all the preparation and work that goes on behind the scenes of figuring out, just giving them that ability to know. When we talked to Mitch, 14, 15 hours ago, of knowing that basically this was their goal, and that basically, hey, if we can, that this is possible, and if we can save enough, we won't have to take the splash at the end. It just shows how far ahead they've been looking, and really that's what it takes, and that's what you have to do to be able to perform and succeed at these kind of levels. leader into the pits
Right.
as well,
Ooh.
which may very well be a change of lead. Although, yeah, well, let's see. The Scuderia Bavaria car pitted 8:59, a couple laps after Parabellum did. So there's every chance they stay out, and I think we might just be about to see a change for the lead here.
Oh no! The Krusty Krab pizza delivery.
Krusty Krab Pizza may not be our victors here, unfortunately, which means no Krusty Krab Pizza for you and me.
What a shame.
Ooh, and another big crash there, looks like, from a little bit further back in the field. Let's see if we can figure out who that was. Can't tell. Ah, there it is. This is one of the GT3 cars down in P27, one of the Porsches. Unfortunately, just looks like had a pretty big off. A couple of them, unfortunately.
Oh no, I think we can get a replay here.
I think we can. I can try here. Let's see. Let's see if we can swap back here.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Yep. All right.
Oh, what happened there?
Ooh. Oh, it looks like he got oh, sorry for the double replay, but it looks like I think he gets bumped. Yeah, he got bumped by the LMP behind. This is what we've been talking about: is those faster cars just getting feisty and wanting to take risks and not wanting to get stuck back, and losing time. And ooh, that's just.
Oh no.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Oh god, and like I said, I think it really was. He just kind of got bumped right in the braking zone and sent him right off.
Right, it wasn't even his fault.
Yeah,
That's
no.
really a shame.
That's really too bad. But again, it's like we've been mentioning. You know, we've been kind of wondering if you're going to start seeing some stuff like that.
I mean, if it happens, then it has to happen at the critical point. It's,
right.
For one, it's Murphy's Law, and for second,
well,
it's
of course.
fatigue.
But exactly, it's we've been wondering if that's going to start happening. When now it's just that's where the pressure is. As somebody else has just gone off as well, it looks like. None of the guys ahead, though. It looks like these are some of the GT runners are running into a little bit of problems here as the last couple of minutes ticks by here. But we're still firmly in contention here. I mean, they're very solidly in P7 and very much a possibility to maybe claim one of these other places if one of these teams has to stop and Mitch does not. We
Absolutely,
have to
and
wait and see.
Right, but having to stop 13 or maybe 10 minutes before the end would really hurt whatever team would have to stop.
I mean, even if you're gonna have to do splash and dash or something at the end, you'd always try and give yourself a little bit more of a window than this because you come out with 10 minutes to go, and if you come out in a bad window, you've left yourself no time to do anything. You've pretty much committed to. If you pit with 10 or 15 minutes to go, you're committing yourself to wherever you happen to cycle out for the most part.
Yeah, I can't really imagine anybody wanting to do another stop here.
I was just going to say, at this point, anybody who stops, nobody wants to be stopping now. Anybody who's stopping at this point is because they have to. It's the only reason to stop now is because you need the fuel to make it to the end. Because otherwise, like I said, as soon as you stop now, you are pretty much giving up any chance you have of improving. You're staying wherever you cycled out. One of the Porsches there looking to try to take advantage of Mitch passing through the traffic. Which is, I mean, it's always something that you'll see a lot. Oh, and that was P2. P2 has just gone off and had a crash, it looks like. See if we can get a view of this. That's the Scuderia Bavaria car. Peter Robbins at the wheel. Let's see what happened here.
No.
Oh, again tags a GT car. Oh.
Always the
goes
GT
for a big
car.
spin. But the thing is, we've been talking about it, how little attrition there has been in this race, and I think we're finally starting to see those chickens come home to roost.
Yeah,
Peter doing the smart thing, and Peter doing the smart thing and staying low there and not trying to make it back up on the banking. As we've also just had another big crash here.
It could have gone a lot worse for them though.
For one of the GTs, for one of these Lamborghinis here, let's take a look and see what happens to Keith Sherman. Again, I think we're about to see. Oh, I was waiting for the same incident where he just gets bumped from behind.
Oh, he went wide. He just went wide.
Oh, okay. But then I saw, it came up with a bunch of crashes. So apparently, my event tracker has a fairly loose definition for what it was willing to call a crash.
Well, I mean, it has to happen in these last couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah,
tension is high. Everybody wants to maybe inch in another place.
like I said, this is
making
where
these
it's
mistakes now.
exactly. But if you were fighting for position or something, this is your last chance. This is where you have to go and get it done. Let's see. Still haven't seen any other stops from anybody else ahead, but we've got a couple of people. Again, we've got P3 and the Ren Welton team in P6, both possible for a last-minute splash here, even with 10 minutes to go. Indeed, P3 is in. P3 is in the pits for a splash. Brawl Autosport pitting, and they were a lap ahead. They pitted 8:52. Ren Welton on 8:53. If they need to pit now, I think we might see Ren Welton in the next lap or two. And that 3-lap cushion that the Austrian team and Parabellum have might just carry them through.
That would be interesting to see, because I can't even imagine them stopping like 9 minutes.
If you stop with 9
minutes,
minutes, it's because, like I said, it's because you were about to sputter out of fuel and there's no other way to make it to the end. There is nobody who's happy to stop now.
Yeah, that's what Mitch was talking about. Fuel management is so important, but in such a long race, you might forget, and it's also really hard to calculate 24 hours if you'll have enough fuel.
Right. You really, like I said, you need to be able to look that far ahead. You need to be able to look in advance, and also you need to have that kind of foresight to know that, yes, we can do this little bit of fuel saving at a time, and understand how it's going to start adding up. And like you said, being able to look 24 hours down the line and go, if we can save, 1% on each stint or on each lap or whatever, what is that going to look like at the end, and how can we use this to our advantage? And you really can. With a lot of proper planning, you can start, really taking big advantage of that. A couple more changes for position for P8 there, just again as cars cycle out of their final pit stops here, as we're coming around on lap 878 with just under 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it's almost over here.
It is. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to think that, we, especially to look back on how far this started, and to think that basically we've really been, all of us, going for a lot longer than 24 hours today, because we all started at least, 4 or 5 hours before the race actually, got off, thinking that it was going to start then. So this has been a long day for a lot of these drivers and for all of these teams, and, it really is, it's crazy to think that we're finally coming down to the last little bit here.
And we're just getting word from the chat, PBLM Esports, that the teal car just won the GTE.
Congratulations to Parabellum Racing, their teal car just winning the GTE class in their Corvette for their race. I'm not certain which split that was in, but they were that was when they were telling us that James had been telling us earlier had been sitting in P1 for quite a while now. So very much a result to be proud of here, and it looks like the Crimson car is going to have something to add to it.
Absolutely, and I think it really shows the talent that the Parabellum has, seeing how they were able to hold their P1, and it could always go back. Look at Ren Welton Pro Team.
Exactly.
They've been leading this race for, if anybody hadn't seen it, for about 22 hours and something. They have been leading, and then just one mistake cost them the podium.
And that's it. It cost them the podium too, not just the win. It cost them from P1 down to P6, where they're currently sitting right now, without, I don't think, much chance of improving beyond that. So exactly, I mean, we've seen exactly in this race here, we've seen how that can go wrong. So congratulations to the teal car for holding on to it. That is a very well-deserved win for them, especially in the GTE class, which is very competitive.
Right. It's no small feat at all. Taking P1, it's really, really well done.
Absolutely. I always said, just taking the checkered flag in an event like this is no small feat. To do so and place well is even better. To actually win an event like this is beyond an accomplishment to be proud of. I mean, it really is. That's a resume item right there.
Absolutely.
And I do mean for their real resume. I would be putting it on there when I apply for jobs. Just in case you think it'll be relevant to this position as a grocery clerk, I am a Daytona winner.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. So we're coming down to the last 5 minutes of the race, and neither Renman Pro nor Austria's Sim Racers Green have pit. I can't imagine they would go to pit now
I
with
was just gonna
5
say, I
minutes
mean,
left.
if you're making it to this point, hopefully you've got 2 or 3 laps to go, and hopefully that means that they can make it to the end. But you never know. I mean, we will see. We've, you know, we really will have to still see. Even with 5 minutes to go in a 24-hour race, we're still not certain how this is going to shake out.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of these races.
It really
right?
is.
It gets down like to the most tiniest of decisions during those 24 hours, and then the decision within the last hour, maybe even like 5 minutes of the race.
Exactly. I mean, it literally could have been, and it can all come down to just, like I said, it might not even be something you've done now. It can all come down to a decision that you made 3 hours ago. Oh, there it is, Ren Welton in the pits. Ren Welton Pro in the pit lane. That is them giving up P6.
That is definitely P6 for Parabellum here.
I think so. I mean, they had a 25-second gap, even if they haven't even made it to their pit stall yet. There we go, just stopping now.
And it must be, right?
It's got to be. I mean, like I said, it's at minimum like a 30-second trip through the pit lane just for a drive-through. Yeah, splash and dash, 8.5-second stop. They're on their way out of the pits, but Mitchell Johnson comes through and takes the pass for P6 on track with 4 minutes left to go in this race. That blue and orange car there, I believe, the Ren Welton team, you can see just exiting pits to the left there.
Yeah.
So we
absolutely insane.
Ahead on track. Now this is going to be a hectic battle for the next 3.5 minutes, for the next, I'd say, 2 laps, maybe 3. We've got Ren Welton behind with a lapped car in between, who's going to be trying desperately to make up that ground. Keep in mind, with a very old car, very old tires, everybody's tired, everybody's fatigued. They've already made, and it is the same driver, Samir Ibrahimi, who stayed in the car, who had that crash earlier. So, he's certainly going to be, kicking himself and wanting very hard to get that position back and to make up for his mistake. So these last couple laps are going to be intense.
Absolutely, Mitch has to hold on to this spot now.
Exactly.
Don't even think about taking P5 now. Just focus on holding P6. Here.
Exactly. Your focus now becomes forget everything else. You just put your pedal to the metal. You ignore your mirrors. You ignore what's in front of you. You just go.
With about 2.5 minutes left, Renman Pro 2 slowly closing in.
If he can get back down here, they're smart. I think letting that lapped car back to potentially pick up a tow from it to try and stay ahead. He is, yeah, Mitch, they're fighting on track. Okay, as Ren Welton looks for a move up the inside into turn 1. Doesn't look like he's quite going to be able to get it at this time around. As Mitch still stays ahead, but they are nose to tail here. Look, again, Samir has a look up the inside. Mitch going to have to hold on hard and fight hard here to be able to keep this 6th place spot. But I think he might just be able to do it. I mean, there's every reason to believe that he can. But he is going to have to defend hard now.
This is so intense.
This is where, I mean,
right behind each other.
Any traffic, any wheel out of place, an inch wrong from either of these cars is what's going to determine this now. Got a nice little draft here. Hopefully he can make it through this traffic before the bus stop. But if he can get a nice big tow here and try to, put some traffic between himself and the Ren Welton car.
Yeah, stretching the gap a little bit.
Just over 3
this is the definition of neck and neck.
Absolutely. Looks forward into the bus stop again. Mitch defending strongly. Doesn't let him have it. Just shuts the door right in his face. We are coming around now for what I will call, I think is going to be the last lap. We'll see if they get the white flag this time by. I'm not certain.
It's crazy.
We're coming past... it's all to do with when the leader crosses the line and when the leader is going to complete 24 hours. So I'm not certain if they will get the white flag this time by, or they may have to do one more. No, in fact, there it is, white flag. So this is it, last lap. He's got 1 lap to go as we come through turn 1 here. With that lap car running a little bit wide, running into some traffic. This is not what Mitch is going to want to be seeing here.
Oh, no.
Come on, just taking it to the inside, defending strongly, not leaving any room. No quarter asked nor given. These two are absolutely on it. 2 top-notch drivers, absolutely fighting their hardest.
This is so insane.
and 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 52 seconds of racing, and it comes down to this. It comes down to about 6 feet between them. Absolutely incredible. Again, some more traffic ahead. If he can get through here cleanly, and again, this is where you're hoping, and it goes back to the respect we were talking about, where as much as Mitch is going to want to put traffic between them, you still would hate to see this battle end. Just because a wayward GT car getting in the way where they try to get through where they shouldn't.
Right.
And hopefully they'll recognize, most of the lap cars can recognize this battle happening. We'll try to let these two through together to not interrupt it, as Mitch again shuts the door into the bus stop, doesn't let him even have a look. It's all to do with this toe here now. Mitch basically has just got to stay low, stay left, and not leave any room for Samir to get up inside of him as we come around. P5, Austrian Sim Racer's screen has taken the checkered flag. Mitch is going to come by. No. Is he going to hold on to it? Who's going to cross ahead?
Oh, come on.
Oh, and Samir goes through right at the end. I think, did he? Indeed,
No.
indeed. Oh, my God. The Ren Welton team does cross the line 300ths of a second ahead of the Parabellum racing car.
Close.
Oh,
that
my God.
Close.
My heart is pounding. Oh, my God.
Holy.
I cannot believe that it just came down to that. It was just that toe, that drag right at the end, and I think it was that gray Porsche that Mitch ran into right before they came, where they were coming around onto the banking, slowed him up just enough. Oh my God!
Crazy. When Pro Team, they just waiting for the slipstream and then just pulling ahead. That really was nothing Mitch could have done.
No, I mean, like I said, at that point it was just about the toe and if he would have enough to make it there or not, but. I mean, credit where credit's due to Ren Welton. I mean, they led this race, as you mentioned, for 20-odd hours, had a massive crash, and then were able to come back and fight back for the position on Parabellum twice, actually. Well, I guess the first one wasn't really a fight, but absolutely unbelievable. I would not have believed this race would end that way if you had told me 24 hours ago.
An insane finish here, Zach.
Absolutely, and really nothing. Like you said, nothing he could have done about that, and still a very, very impressive result here for the Parabellum Crimson car. Absolutely nothing for them to be ashamed of or upset about. This is absolutely a day to be proud of.
Absolutely. If you recall, in the beginning they just dropped with the traffic and getting a little bit caught up down to, I think, P17, clawing their way up, grinding to P7, and then a finish. Even almost getting P6, just Ren Welton Pro Team just having the slipstream and making it just barely before them into the finish line. And what a crazy race here.
Absolutely incredible, as I just realized I had my mic still muted there. But it really is just crazy to see, after 24 hours of racing, to see it come down to something that close. It is just ridiculous. But that has certainly been a very interesting day of racing, all things considered. From how this race began to how it ended, I couldn't have predicted any of this.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, it's always like this. If things don't work out perfectly, it's going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and interesting is certainly a word for it, as we see the Krusty Krab pizza delivery almost come past us there.
They won too.
Did they? I actually wasn't.
They won, yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention to the winners at the end. I was so caught up in the Parabellum battle. But yes, indeed,
yeah,
that's true. Krusty Krab pizza delivery. We can confirm the winner of this race by 18 and a bit seconds. So congratulations to them. Joined on the podium, Scuderia Bavaria coming P2, and a very well fought third for Brawl Autosport.
Yeah, the winner of the race is a SpongeBob reference.
Yes, very subtle one.
What a crazy day that was.
I'm still a little bit in shock that try and get something a little bit better to look at here. absolutely incredible results, and like I said, just what an incredible day of racing. What an absolute cracker of a race.
Yeah, it was, especially in the last hour, so close, even almost getting P5 with overtaking the Austrian sim racer Green, not quite making it. And then Renwa and Pro just dropping with that crash, coming back and battling for P6. That was a crazy finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, credit to where credit's due for them because they absolutely deserved, the result that they got there. They really did earn it. Trying to see. Unfortunately, we can't really get the results page does not seem to want to work, unfortunately, and I'm not quite certain why. So I unfortunately cannot give you the full results display, everybody. But I do want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been watching here. We're going to see if we can um, see if anybody wants to come on and speak to us here. If we can get anybody from the car. Bear with me just one moment while I try and reach out to them and see if that can happen. So we're going to stay here live for just a few minutes here. It looks like we might get one or two of the drivers from Parabellum from one or two of the cars to come in and talk to us. Um, and if so, we will obviously stay and talk with them for a little while. Otherwise, we might be shutting down here in just a few minutes. But I will take a moment here just again to say a big thank you, first of all, to everybody at Parabellum Esports and Parabellum Racing for allowing us to do this and setting us up with the stream here. It's been such an amazing day and a great event to watch. Big thank you to Blind Ghost and Insomnia, of course, for joining me in the booth as well. Could not have done this without the two of you.
Oh, sure, no problem, Zach. That was my pleasure.
It's really been an absolute blast to do. Thank you again, obviously, to everybody who's been watching and everybody who's followed and subscribed and everybody who's been hanging out and talking in chat and watching the race with us. That's what this is all about is, some nice community and a chance to do this together. But looks like we do have, I'm just getting word, we do have, I believe, Mitch coming on to talk to us again in just a second here to do a little debrief after he's just gotten out of the car here. So let's take a look. See, Mitch, are you there with us? Do we have Mitch?
There I am. Hello.
There we have. We do have Mitch. That's Le Mans winner and now Daytona P7er. Mitch Johnson, how you doing, buddy?
My heart's still like racing through my chest right now, but all in all, pretty good.
I'm right there with you. Honestly, guy, we were just absolutely heart pounding at the end there. I cannot believe that it came down to the final tally is 300ths of a second, .03,
Yeah,
that they pipped you at the line there. It was just that's
yeah,
really it's heartbreaking to watch, but that was incredible to see you guys coming back past them. We were waiting to see if they would pit again. So just
yeah.
yeah, tell us. I mean,
It,
walk us through those last couple of stints. What was that like for you?
uh, the first stint was pretty mellow for the most part. Everything was, for the most part until the last stint. Yeah, it would have been the last stint. I watched P1 crash in that turn, and the guys were telling me, they're like, yeah, you got two more laps to catch up to him, one more lap, and then we passed them in the pits, and they started doing, all the calculations and everything, and they're like, basically, you just have to save fuel. So we got behind. I forget what car number it was, but we got behind a car, and he gave us a tow, which gave us the fuel we needed. I just didn't quite have enough pace to really put a big gap on him. And you saw, I mean, he came out of the pits right behind us.
Hmm.
Um, and pretty much
Yeah.
just held him off as long as I could. And the white flag came out, and I got told to go for it. And I didn't want to crash the car,
Yeah.
but I also wanted to get P6. So we just raced them all the way to the line, and I just
It's
held my line down at the inside. And at that point, that's all you can do on that back
exactly.
straight at Daytona. So we just hung on for it, and it looks like he barely got us, but it was a lot of fun, definitely. We're
Exactly. I mean,
we're all
that's
very, very happy with the result that we got.
yeah. I mean, you absolutely should be. You guys have a lot to be proud of today. That's exactly what we were saying at the end. It's like we were just looking at the when everybody had pitted. excuse me, and trying to do our own calculations and figure out, are is that three? They had pitted 3 laps ahead of you, and just figuring out is that going to be a big enough gap that they're going to have to pit again that you guys were able to save that splash and dash like you'd been talking about earlier. And then yeah, again, right at the end there was, as best I could tell, I think it was that last gray Porsche right coming up onto the banking for the last time that slowed you up just a little bit that he was able to get enough toe off you, but we were watching just going, yeah, there's nothing Mitch can do here except just stay low, stay left, and hope that he doesn't have enough of a toe to get there in time. But still, an absolutely phenomenal result for you guys. I'm sure you guys have to be happy with that, and as well as the teal car. I know won their split in the GTE class in the Corvette. I'm not certain how
Yeah,
the rest
yep,
of the cars
yeah,
performed just yet, but it seems like you guys
yep.
definitely have
So
a great day for you here.
yeah, we had an excellent day. Obviously, the GTE car absolutely killed it. They kind of had the same, the same mindset going in. It's all about those, last minute calculations, that can really make or break the race. And um, I don't know for sure the whole scenario, but I do know that that they were talking about, like, in Discord and stuff, about getting ready to make, like, some last play calls. So they had an excellent race, and we did as well. I mean, obviously, a P6 would have been awesome, but we're all super super happy about a P7, all things considering. I mean, this race really did throw everyone for a loop. It pushed everyone's stints back about 4 hours.
Right.
So it was definitely a test of the
Endurance.
team's ability to be flexible and to basically roll with the punches and figure it out anyways, and we were
Yeah.
able to, and come away with a pretty dang good result. So I mean, considering the first couple hours we were sitting in P17, so I mean 10 spots and in a very competitive LMP2 field, we're all pretty happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely, and very competitive field and a very clean field altogether. I mean, really, up until the end, we really weren't seeing that many accidents or really any major issues of any kind, which is fantastic to see in a race like this. But again, I mean, just from how this race got started to how it ended to everything that kind of went on in between, I mean, this is absolutely got to be one to remember for you guys.
Oh yeah, it definitely will be. I mean, any honestly any 24-hour endurance race is definitely one to
Oh,
remember.
of course.
And the team, even from just my short time being with them, we've come such a long way.
Hmm.
As far as the teamwork together, and the fact that basically four people where we've never even met in real life. Four of us can get into a car and get out there and get the job done. So it's really really impressive, the team that James has put together.
Hmm.
And I know speaking for myself, I'm really really happy to be a part of the team. I know everyone else is too. So it's always just fun when we get to come out and kind of show what we're all about.
Exactly. Like, we were talking about it too. It's just everybody out here is here to have fun and because they enjoy it. And, the competition is almost secondary. And, good results are fantastic and always, always fantastic to come in, a very well deserved P7 overall there. But, again, it's just, we come out here because this is what we love doing and we love watching it. We love racing it. We love everything that goes with it. And, it just, again, you were talking about the team, and we spoke with James a little while ago, and it was the same thing. Just all of those fuel calculations and all the planning and everything that goes into it. That it's not just you guys. It's the whole organization. The strength of the organization is required, or that's required to not only reach but to perform well at this level. So I think it really really speaks highly of the organization you guys have built. And again, I mean, you guys obviously had a fantastic result here.
Yeah, we did, and everyone did their part super well. I mean, Jens and Paul, had a absolutely incredible um, opening stints. I mean, the first probably 4 hours of an endurance race are absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just
They did an
chaos.
excellent job. They gave me and Felix a perfect car for the night section. We just kept our heads down, nose clean, made it to this morning. Honestly, throughout the whole 24 hours, everyone ran a incredibly flawless race. Um, I mean, I couldn't be more happy, with our car. I'm pretty proud of the team that we've threw together and made it happen. So
Yeah, well, like I said, I think you guys have every reason to be proud and every reason to be happy today, and you definitely have put together a very strong contender. And seems like, I mean, this is just the very first result or very first race this season, so I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more from you guys as the year progresses.
yeah, yep. We've definitely got a lot more in the works, and we're looking forward to it. So
Well, I know the rest of us can't wait to see what happens. So, again, really congratulations to you and the rest of the team and all the other sister cars for the performance you guys did today. Absolutely phenomenal. And, go and enjoy some well-earned rest.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're all gonna walk around a little bit, eat some food, and get some rest. Also, too, we appreciate you, Zach, and all everyone else that's been here with the broadcast. Um, you guys have killed it. Everyone that's stopped by has told me it's been very, very, very good production. We appreciate you guys staying up for almost 25 hours with us, and commentating on the madness. So we really do appreciate it.
Well, like I said, we've had an absolute blast. So, thank you so much for having us here. And, again, congratulations to you guys and the team, and good luck with the rest of the year.
Yep, we'll see you, Zach. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. So again, that was Mitch Johnson, fresh out of the car, who finished those last couple of masterful stints there for an immeasurably close P7 finish, .03 of a second to the Renvelton Pro team at the very last minute there. But an absolute stormer of a race, one that we will not soon forget. For myself and for everybody else who's been broadcasting here from the Art of Racing, thank you so much for watching. And we hope that you've enjoyed this as much as we have, because it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you to the Parabellum Racing team and Parabellum Esports for allowing us to host this event. Again, we just have had an absolute blast and could not have been more fun. This has been the iRacing 2021 24 Hours of Daytona here on Art of Racing with the Parabellum Racing team, sponsored by Seagate Gaming and Corsair. You guys, we gotta go. Everybody's gotta go and get some rest. I think we've all earned a little champagne. Thanks for stopping by, and hopefully we'll see you guys in the next one.